When we think of natural disasters, floods and earthquakes, we often blame nature. But what if I told you we might be helping them happen? In this video, I'll break down two powerful natural disasters and how human actions are silently making them worse or even triggering them. Floods. They sound simple, too much water in the wrong place. But here's the twist: most deadly floods in modern times, helped along by human hands. So, how do humans make floods worse? Let's explore three ways. First, paving over nature. Imagine a sponge. That's what soil does when it rains. It soaks water. Now replace that sponge with concrete roads, buildings and parking lots. Rain hits the surface and rushes off instead of soaking in. More pavement means faster, bigger floods. Simple. Second, destroying forests. Forests aren't just for scenery. Trees absorb tons of rainwater and slow down runoff. But when we cut them down for farming or development, the rain has nowhere to go except straight into rivers. The result, flash floods and river overflows. Third, building in flood zones. We love building cities near rivers. They're great for trade and farming. But we forget rivers flood naturally. By forcing rivers into narrow channels, building dams and blocking floodplains, we set ourselves up for disaster when heavy rain comes. So next time you see a flooded street, don't just blame the storm. Ask how much of this flood was built by us. Earthquakes. We think of shifting tectonic plates, deep underground forces. But here's a mind-bending fact. Some earthquakes today aren't natural at all. Let's see how we might be shaking the earth ourselves. First, oil and gas drilling, also known as fracking. Fracking is a process where we inject high-pressure fluid into the ground to extract oil and gas. It sounds high-tech, but it cracks rocks underground and messes with fault lines. In places like Oklahoma, fracking has caused thousands of small quakes and even some large ones. Second, pumping water underground. In some industries, wastewater is injected deep underground to dispose of it. But this changes pressure on ancient fault lines and can cause them to slip. This isn't science fiction, it's been proven with seismic data. Third, giant reservoirs behind dams. When we build a massive dam, we create a lake that weighs billions of tons. That water presses on the Earth's crust and, in rare cases, has triggered earthquakes. One of the biggest? The 1967 Koinanagar quake in India, caused by the weight of a dam. We can now drill, dig and build on the Earth at massive scales, but are we poking a sleeping giant? We call them natural disasters, but many of them aren't purely natural anymore. Through industry, technology and expansion, we've become silent partners in floods, earthquakes and storms. The question now isn't can we stop nature, but can we learn to live with it instead of fighting against it? If this opened your eyes, share it with someone who still thinks nature is the enemy, because sometimes the enemy is wearing concrete shoes.